Now we're ready. Now I have sound. Here we go.
Hello, hello.
We're all here. The gang's all ready.
Let's go.
Let's go. Mojo's using advanced AI to remove the scarf.
It's taking all of my power. So many thinking machines are involved in this. I have a neck reveal. He doesn't have massive hickeys. Who do? As that comment said.
Oh my goodness. Did not need to know that.
I don't remember who wrote that. Was it a Discord? Yeah, it was in Discord. I don't know. It was great fun. It was great fun. It was cold in Oslo. I just wanted to wear a thing on my neck, and that's it. It made such a fuss. Anyway,
People notice. People notice. So, welcome to our little corner of nerddom. For those of you who didn't catch us before, podcast, right? Sandwalking. This is we've done this a few times now, haven't we?
Episode 3.
This is episode 3. We have to entertain ourselves without 3. For those of you who don't know, I am Meg, also known as DeadWomanWalking. I've been gaming for a bit. I think my I had a knockoff game of Pong that my dad found at a garage sale or at a flea market. It was like an off-brand Pong. That was my first video game back in the day. So yeah, I've been gaming a little bit. Moved into computer gaming. First survival game I think probably was Minecraft, and then Ark. And then as soon as Conan Exiles came out, I dropped Ark and never went back. Literally, I was like, nope, done. And I've been with Conan ever since. And then now looking forward into Dune Awakening. And so I'm really pumped to be here and to talk about nerdy stuff. And then with me, I have my lovely co-host, Flaming Mojo, also known as Steven, and the lovely Jeff, also known as Heffe. Steven, how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. It's me again, as I'm sure you're all very delighted to see. My name's Steven. I go by Flaming Mojo. As most of you who are from the Discord will probably kind of recognize me. I've become part of the furniture on there now. I've been there for several years and will not stop talking no matter how much Iggy tries. I am the founder of the Awakening Wiki. So that is the Dune Awakening Community Wiki, which is run by and for sleepers. So we're all ready and excited for the game. So yeah. And my God, we're getting so much traffic on there now. It's been great, and we're still a month away from launch.
Traffic is good. It's exciting. And then we have the amazing, indomitable Heffe, who is here as his own person to talk to us about some things about the game.
Yes, it's me. I don't know. I guess people know who I am, but anyway, I'm the world director on Dune Awakening. So I was gladly contacted by. I'm gonna say Meg. I don't want to call you Dead Woman, and Stefan to join the podcast. And I was like, yeah, sure, it would be cool to talk about. So it's not. It's a half affiliated Funcom thing because I'm, of course, Funcom employee, but it's not an official thing from Funcom. So yeah, I'm still gonna try to not drop too many hidden beans there and there. And I'm not reading chat, so if people are writing in chat, I'm not reading chat because that's gonna
reading
disturb
chat.
me. So you two can read chat, but I'm not gonna read chat.
You've got the nickname El Neke.
El Neke, I see. The meme lives on. The meme lives on.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've got an ad on Twitch. So
we'll give it a moment. While it's doing the ad, just to.
Oh, it's gone.
Okay, already?
Apparently so. Yeah.
Okay.
Quick ads are the best
show,
ads.
By the way, Mojo and I are still bound by the NDA. So we aren't going to talk to you about spoilers. We're going to talk to you about very limited things around certain aspects of the game. Nothing about previous waves. just to, we want the game to be new and exciting for everybody when they come up. And then where was the other one? Got too many things. And media. No, I don't want that screen. Anyway, we've seen it, right? we know we have to behave.
Yeah, especially that I'm here. Especially that I'm here too. The only reason I'm here is just to make sure that you don't screw up.
Yes, the ban hammer is hanging over us.
Exactly.
Don't ban me.
I mean, Iggy has been trying to ban me for several years at this point.
I got my first ban threat the other day. I was so happy. I felt like I've entered into this new era with Funcom. So, kind of our theme for today, because we were able to get one of the world directors here, is world building. Talking about gaming in general, from tabletop to here, there's an art and a skill to building a game from the ground up, to make it exciting and interesting and build in longevity that we want as survival gamers. Because I don't want a game that I'm done with in 2 hours. That would be it's boring as fuck, and I don't want that. I want something. I got 3,200 hours in Conan. I want something that I can spend some time in and play in and immerse myself in. And so we're going to talk about world building. What do we got here? The first thing we were going to look at is I have some videos. We were going to look at some. Gotta find my thing. Where is it? Aha. Most people will be familiar with this, so I'm going to minimize our camera so everybody can see this amazing So, are we all back?
We are.
Okay.
Pretty sure we are.
I wanted to give everybody a chance to kind of re-immerse themselves in the world, because I know we've all watched this a bajillion times. But when we're thinking about how to start world building in any game, what kind of things are interesting to you? Where do you start on this kind of project?
Well, it's interesting because the whole thing with that was for me to basically select a place on Arrakis, right? Because we were not going to do the whole thing. That would have been a bit too big. So yeah, it was basically to find a spot in there that could work with narrative and that could not be too in the face, right? We didn't want it to be exactly like the whole thing with the movies and things like that. We wanted to do our own thing, right? So I ended up choosing Haga Basin in a really specific place because in the game you can see Mount Idaho in the distance, really, 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 really far, and you can see Observatory Mountain also. I don't know if there's any shot in this video that we can kind of see it, but people will be able to kind of locate themselves where they are. So yes, we already. Oh, shit, Joel is in the chat. Now we'll stop talking. I said I would not talk about I would not read the chat, but now I just see that Joel is here. All right, we'll stop talking now. No, but yeah, so that's how I chose the place. It was, I don't think we have really showed the map yet, right? But there's a place that was good for us in Haga Basin to make a little piece for the world, and that's the place I chose basically. And then of course we took all the all the stuff. I was working closely with Joel, of course, as narrative director and creative director, to do a lot of making it true to the books and all the things, and making sure that like Arakin is there, and then where would Arco Village live, and all the different regions. And then when the place was set, then it was time to work with the art director to basically decide how can we make this desert not just sand and rock for the rest of it. And the beauty of Eric's video is really good for that, because we can showcase all the different biomes that we have in the main map, right? So we were able to achieve quite a lot of different things, even though yes, it's still a desert. And we took a lot of there's a region that we've seen in the video called the Shield Wall. When I was basically hiking the volcano in Tenerife, Montede, I was like, hey, that's what I want. That's what I want on the Shield Wall. I think it's cool, right? And we took a lot of things from real world, and we had a lot of concept done and things. And then we started making it in 3D, and then we ended up with the wall that we have, basically.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that I saw a lot of people, especially very, very early on, when the kind of community was forming, and we hadn't really seen anything other than just the cinematic trailer with Paul, but the announcement trailer, and then people were kind of very much like, aren't we just going to get bored like of a desert? Isn't it all just going to be sand and rocks? Isn't it going to be very boring? And then I think one of the things that the movies falls into the trap of a little bit is getting the idea, and the Lynch film did this as well, is getting the idea that desert world equals like Saharan desert, but it's just sand for miles and miles and miles, and then rock outcroppings and then more sand, which does have its own charms, and I do quite like how cinematic and how beautiful they did make it in the movies. But when you're living in that world, or when you want a game experience in it, you've got a limited mileage, and especially I think where you've kind of gone with it is really, really interesting, really cool. It definitely goes hand in hand with the lore and the books. It's very much more of an Arizonan desert rather than, a Saharan African one, for instance, where there is pockets of life, which is just as Frank described it in the books. Although he wouldn't have called it Mount Idaho. Not at this point, not in this story.
No, exactly.
I'm not letting you get away with that one.
It's fine. It's not the name in there too, but so people who read the book can see a bit and kind of understand a bit where it is. And that's the thing, right? I love the movies from Denis, of course, like all of us. But yeah, I think it works in a movie, but in the game it would have been, especially this place right here in the video, right, the Udem region. Like we wanted to really push the limit of what we could do with the desert, and that's also why the spice is purple, right? Because yeah, the spice in the movie is kind of like the same color. It's really kind of hard for players to find it, right? And it's a little bit of an opportunity that we took there, and a bit of things we could change to make our game play a bit better, also for gameplay, right?
Might want to change my category. What's wrong with my category? What did I break?
What did you break?
Meg is pressing buttons.
I know. So one of the things that we want to talk with when it comes to world building is with a PvE portion is the environmental part, right? There's supposed to be an environmental hazard. And in some of these, we've talked a little bit about what is there anything else? I mean, we got quicksand, we got radiation,
Tidal dust. I said it like this in the live stream also. I remember we always had this discussion internally with Joel. Right? There's no quicksand on Arrakis. Right? There's no water. It's tidal dust, right? Of course, it's in quicksand in the game. It's all right, and it's okay. We said quicksand also, but we'll say like, no, it's tidal dust. There's no quicksand. It's important, but people don't know what tidal dust is. So yeah, quicksand works in the game. People know what quicksand is. Like, you don't have to. I'm pretty sure pretty much everyone who would play this game now what quicksand is. So it's funny bits of lore.
They remind me that. So we know there's radiation.
Yes.
Right. Is there anything you can tell us about some of the? Because we saw the pan as we're there's a thopter coming over the green fog. Is there a safe way through or around that, or is that just a block that's going to stop us forever?
Oh, you can go in. It's perfectly fine. You just won't last long if you don't have the right tool. Right? I don't remember exactly what I said in the live stream about radiation, but because Camille was kind of flying just on top of it, and we kind of like talked a little bit about it. But yeah, it's one of the hazards that we have. There's a big part in the world that is also highly regulated, and you can go there. It's fine. It's an open world. It's a sandbox. There's nothing blocking you, but you won't get long. And when you have the right tools, the right equipment, then you can last longer. But the player will never be able to basically stay in radiation forever. You will always die. It will just take longer for you to not die in there. So it's a thing that I really wanted to have. It's like a push your luck mechanic. Can I reach that point, or should I just go back and then go back again with better tools and things? So, yes, I have personally placed little pockets of radiation in the world because it's fun, and you cannot talk because NDA, but I know that Megan doesn't really like radiation, so it's just what it is.
Can't very much notice that you were dancing around the NDA then.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is hard, man. This part's really hard, but so not quicksand, sand, radiation, the storm. Someone had asked before because they noticed in some of the content creator storms that they felt that the storms didn't look intense enough or last long enough.
I think we tweaked the length of the storm for, I don't know, 3 years now. And again, NDA, I guess, but they used to be longer and longer and longer. You might have experienced it yourself, but it's just like it was really a thin line between there's like it's cool, we're under the storm, and right, well, I had just have to go because if you're in your base when a storm hits, it's fine. You can do a lot of different things. If you're in the middle of nowhere and you're just waiting under a rock, it's kind of cool the first 5 times, but then after that, it's like, hey, cool, please, the storm, can you just pass so I can just keep on playing? So yeah, it was really a real thin line between that. And now it's just like, they're one of the design principle that we have in the game. I don't know if Joel is still in the chat, right? But Arrakis is a crisis generator, and that the storm does that, right? You're just doing your thing, and then at some point you hear in the community net there's a storm coming, and it's like in 2 minutes. You look in the map, you see it coming because it builds up, like we've seen in the live stream, and it's like, okay, I have like 2 minutes to either finish what I'm doing. I'm just gonna wait and go put my still tent or something like this, and then go in, and do your things. So it's just like it's to basically break the thing that you're doing right now without being annoyingly long, right? So that's like, I can understand people might want to have them last longer, but yeah, after your 57th storm, it's kind of cool. It doesn't last like 17 minutes, right?
Yeah.
It is that kind of thing where people want things to be harder when they're in control of the situation, but as you kind of mentioned, a lot of the design is about finding the boundaries, about learning the ways of the desert and knowing when you can push it a little bit with the radiation or the not quicksand, or when it's time to duck for cover with the storm.
The other thing that we also showed a little bit in the far end in the live stream was the Sardaukar dropship, right? Which is also another hazard that we have. And it always happens. You just don't think about them. It's during the night, so you're traveling because there's no sun, so it's great. You're not going to get sunstroke or anything. And then, bang! All of a sudden, you get spotted by the light, and then you have to throw mercenary up your ass, right? So again, it's a crisis generator. You were just doing your thing, and then bang! That's it. You get your stuff, right? So something happened, and then it kind of breaks you from the thing you were doing. So yeah, we also have that.
Yeah, it needs to keep you on your toes. There needs to be a level of tension with the environment, I think, that needs to always be there to be a survival game to me. We need to feel that. I need to keep an eye on my water. I need to keep an eye on the sky. I need to, doubly keep an eye on the sky. Oh, there are 3 things falling out of the sky. I need to keep, always keep an ear out for the worm. There's always something that you need to be watching.
Yeah. Yes, and even after like 100 hours playing the game, and you're like you're in the deep desert end game and things, right? You're talking about water. You always still need to think about water, because even after all that time, it can happen that you're like doing your things, you're in testing station or whatever, and then shit, I'm dehydrated now. I need to drink, right? So there's always this thing there. We don't have food to survival, but we have a lot of other things that put you on your toe, like you said about surviving on Arrakis, right?
Well, yeah, it's things that you can't take for granted, like you do
in
other games.
Exactly. We still have it still happens. Like it happened to me literally today when I was building the internal build, and I was driving my sand bike, and then I don't know, I think I answered someone on Slack, and then I was just like pressing forward. Well, quicksand. There you go. There you go. After 2,000 hours, I was just not paying attention, and then bang, that's it. I was in quicksand, tidal dust, with my sand bike, and I was like, God damn it!
You think you know the ways of the desert?
Yeah, it just happened.
You never do.
No, it just happened, right? And it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I was like, we talked about the small ship crashing from the sky, right? And it's also another thing. It's not really a crisis generator, but it's the thing again is, I want to go get the loot from there. And then I was like, okay, let's go. And then, after, again, 2,000 hours playing this game, I was just doing so much noise, and I was just flying around with my suspensor belt. It generates a lot of noise, but ultimate tech, the worm doesn't like it. Got eaten by a worm. Okay, it's just like, it happens. It's just how it is. So.
And drum sand as well.
Yes.
One of the eagle-eyed viewers in chat actually remembered about that, as has been shown a little bit. The drum sand is amazing for raising tension.
Yes.
As people have kind of seen it, where you drive over it and you're just like, oh, I'm on drum sand. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know how it was on the live stream, because of course I was sitting on the couch, right? And I don't know what people would hear, but you really hear it, right? You hear it when you drive on it, like boom, 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 and you see those kind of wavy thing on the sand, right? You're like, oh shit. Like, I have to go now. That's time, because you see the wave bar from the worm coming in, and it's like, okay, I really have to reach solid ground now. I cannot stay here, right? And we built the Vermilius Gap with that in mind. Like, compared to the Haga Basin South, the Vermilius Gap is wider. Like you've seen when we were flying with the ornithopter on the live stream. That's where we put the drums in, because we were like, okay, cool. You kind of learned about the worm at the start of the game. Now we got to pump it up a little bit more. Now there's drums in. The worm will come faster, and the distance are greater between rock formation, right? And then after that, there's the other hazard coming, and then after that, so we one and one after each other, right?
And
there's something else I forgot. There's another hazard. There's poison. We talked about poison. There's poison also.
Tell us about some poison.
Yeah, there's a lot of poison. Also, it's a classic thing. There's fire. Also, of course, there's fire. It's a hazard, right? Don't step on fire. You will catch fire, and that burns, and that hurts a lot. So don't do that.
We talked a little bit about poison before with the Mentat poison bomb, and how it's a big blob, and it's not nice.
Yes, exactly. We have traps also. That's true. We also have traps. That's also another thing. Explosive traps, poison traps, different things. So you're kind of always on your toe. There's places with more or less of them, and then if you're not careful, you will remember that place. We were talking before the stream. I will not go more, but we're talking with Megan and Stefan about different places, and sometimes there's a place that hurts more than other.
It keeps you from slacking off. It keeps you on your toes. You can't 1,000 hours, 2,000 hours, and you can't look away and go, yeah, I got this, is fine, and then you're not fine.
You can try. It just Arrakis is Arrakis, and the desert takes the weak.
And I see Joel in the chat writing, so I'm gonna talk. Yeah, there's also a place with electricity. Then I'm not gonna talk more about it. But yeah, the electricity hurts. It hurts hard. So you have to be careful.
Joel just said Fremen traps. So
yes, it's Fremen traps.
Yeah,
they left little presents for the people.
we're supposed to find the Fremen. I guess that means we're on the right track. If
they're kind of not there, but you can go in places where they were. But they left a little bit of little things.
It's just full contact archaeology. It's just how this works.
Indiana Jones had
full contact archaeology. I like that. Yes.
So it's probably the best way to describe our journey throughout it.
Spicy archaeology.
Yes.
Oh, very spicy.
Very spicy in all of the ways.
Yes. Is there another thing? I think I covered pretty much all the little tidbits of annoyance.
Sand, quicksand, storms, radiation, sunstroke and shade. We've talked about that.
Sunstroke, right? I think everyone is probably aware of that. So
yeah. So we
go in the shade during the day, and then during the night you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
During the night, that's when you harvest water.
Well,
correct.
The mercenaries.
There's a starter car, but at least you don't get sunstroke. And when you get sunstroke, it's your water bar is going down extremely fast. So you don't want to have that.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's also I guess I could also say there's the Coriolis storm, right? There's also that. Like if you're there when the Coriolis storm happened, well, you're pretty dead. Right? So it's a hazard to some extent. But
none of that has been shown yet. I'm wondering if it actually will do before launch, or if you're going to leave that for people to experience.
I hope. I don't know. That's not my call, but I hope people will be able to experience that.
Absolutely. I think that'll make a nice surprise for people.
It's a nice experience, but we've talked about it because it's the big storm that happens that wipes the deep desert. So, and if people who know the lore, know that the big storms come and take the flesh off of people. There was it in the Harkonnen book, Stephen, that had the two young people. They were coming up from the South Pole. Going to do some, and they got caught out in the storm, and one stayed outside and lost most of his face.
Yes, well, it's more than just that. The sandstorms in Arrakis are fast enough and strong enough and violent enough to shred metal.
Yeah.
And as well as, I think Joel talked about this actually at the in-person book club, but I think it's good to kind of bring back up the kind of justification law-wise for the deep desert shifting, being the shifting sands, about how when Paul and Jessica are in a still tent looking out onto the dunes during the storm, and you can kind of see horizons that have shifted and landmarks that have been buried in sand and some revealed elsewhere. Because once you leave the shield wall, that's it. You are at the mercy of the storms, and they will pretty much only rock survives, more or less, exposed out there. So it's
sand is funny stuff, because like we lived in the Middle East for a while, and we lived like right on the Gulf, like right on the Persian Gulf. Like someone, like a football player, could have gone long and gone from my balcony to the water. Right, we're like right there, but we were up on like the 28th floor, so we're not on the we've got a view, but the amount of sand on my balcony on any given week, the stuff moves. It's constantly shifting, and the big storms. I mean, we would come in and from going to and from work, and there's just always sand moving across the roads, trying to bury the roads, and that's just regular storms. So big storms like that are definitely going to bury buildings and bury rocks and destroy stuff, because it was wild even then just to see your stuff disappear. We went out of town for a month on vacation. We parked a car in the garage and we came back and it looked like it had been left for years. It was absolutely disgusting.
Just feels like snow like we have at home in Quebec.
Yeah.
That's it. It's just like, oh shit, there was a car here. Now it's just snow.
We went to the car wash and we pulled in, and all the car washes there are hand washed because water is valuable even there. And the guy looked at us with this look of horror on his face, and we paid him like 5 times the going rate. I'm like, I know it's bad. I just need to see out the window. Just splash some water at the rest, but get the windows clean so I can see.
Yeah. But it's good that you talk about the Coryllis, right? So I will not go too much into detail. I guess there's going to be more live stream about that, right? But that's the whole thing with the deep. It's the desert, right? Haga Basin is pretty dense in terms of content because, of course, that's the survival thing, you know, and we want people to see things and not be too far away from different locations and point of interest and things like that, right? But the deep desert, that's the part that's like vast, open, more like in the movies, right? And yeah, when you look outside in the deep desert, you don't see much if you fly around because everything was swiped by the Coryllis storm. So, but if you go closer, you will find things, of course. But it's not like there's not going to be in the 3D space standing all of a sudden there because that thing was swiped, you know, because that's what happened with the Coryllis storm. So there's a lot of things hidden in there, but everything is getting destroyed with the Coryllis, including player stuff, of course.
So I'm going to take a moment to put up a quick graphic here. We're kind of at a midpoint. And in a moment, we will take some questions. But first, hold on. Let me see if I can go back to this. Oh, blah, blah. Sometimes this thing is a little disagreeable. There we go. So I'm going to show our little graphic here, right? Just as a reminder. If you haven't already, make sure that you have wish listed. You see, oh, no, don't do that.
Oh, hi.
Oh, no, stop.
Buttons. So many buttons.
I know. Okay, find some buttons. Okay. But my camera is not that it's arm distance, but for some reason whenever I do that, it's like suddenly the camera's like, you know, here's an eyeball. So we're going to take a few quick questions, keeping in mind the NDA, right? We don't want to get too wild.
What are the questions that can be answered?
Yeah.
Right? By the world director, you know. What a question I get. Joel is probably that Joel. I don't know if he's still in chat, but he gets a lot of questions, both on the beta Discord and the normal Discord. But it's the amount of questions we get sometime, and I mostly can almost never answer them because, like I always say, I just deal with sand and rocks, right? Are question about Jeff's neck acceptable? Well, it depends. What are the questions?
Yeah, if we can have questions.
How is your motives to collect?
Yeah,
Go on, I think that's a good question.
Yes.
I mean, you have to get on the open sand, and there's worm, but the actual action of collecting them is pretty easy. You kill them, and then you take them. But it's finding them and killing them in open sand that is a bit of harder things to do. And they're pretty small, so you kind of have to, you have to kind of figure things out.
Oh, apparently we have some ads, so we'll give.
Oh, ads.
Yeah, Twitch.
Ads.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have any control over the ads.
Oh, the question from Joel. Seriously, dude.
I'm gonna put the Joel question up.
Okay.
Nope, I will not answer that.
Fine, we don't get the Joel question.
being trolled by the boss.
Yeah, exactly. Where are the ads? Is it on both? Or it's on Twitch?
It's on Twitch. We got to give him a second.
That's just looking at some of the questions.
There's a I guess highest point, lowest point for maybe what has made you happiest in about the whole process in a general way, of course.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is the question about the world or about my
I thought that was
mood?
very literal. Like,
is it like my highest point in life, or is it about the world itself? I want to know.
do both.
Shaken. But there was another question I'm going to answer because he's a fellow Quebecois, but no, there's sadly no poutine at Funcom.
I was wondering what that was.
Makes me really, really sad. But no. Just to open a bracket and close it really, really fast, right? I Googled Canadian cuisine for whatever reason here in Stockholm. I saw it was a food truck, a Canadian food truck that opened like last year, and they have poutine. And I was not able to go because they're always open during work hour. But yeah, I'm gonna have my fix. I'm gonna have my fix one day. All right, okay, let's go back out of Canadian cuisine now. It was the highest point and the lowest point. Now I want to know if it was about my life. Or it's about the world. Well, if it's about the world, the lowest point is probably one of the thing in the back of me right now, right here, right? The Hager Rift. We showed it a little bit in the live stream. It's an interesting place. It was really interesting to see Force Gaming when he did his video about the thing that we did on a live stream. He was super excited. I was like, oh wow, I'm looking forward to go into that place. Which is really great. It's a nice place. It's really dark. There's a lot of thing in there. You can easily get lost. There's a lot of paths and levels and things like that. And I guess the highest point is probably the famous landmark that we've shown so many times in so many videos. The tree massive rock formation, right? The place is called the Hand of Kadir. We talked about it in whatever. Last year, I think there was a Steam post about how we made Arrakis or something like that, right? And we talked about the Hand of Kadir.
Is it that or the Sentinel?
Huh?
Is it that or the Sentinel?
Yeah, you're right. Maybe it's
Sentinels.
Maybe there's another landmark that might be higher because it's on the shield wall. Maybe it's this one. I don't remember. I don't remember testing both of them. So, who knows? It's one of those.
I think
we have really big
Sentinel, you know. I guess, as Joel says, you got to pay for. Just play around and find out.
Yes, on a scale of if you really want to find out on a scale of 7, you will have to fuck around a lot. So sorry, I use a swear word.
I do it all the time.
I like this question.
And the map that you've created. I always get asked this question. I got asked this question on Discord so much also. The thing by being a director is that I mostly just point at things, and the GIF, the toilet, the GIF of there's this guy on the shoulder of an artist, and he's just doing that, and then you see a toilet in 3D moving, and then you're moving again. That's kind of what I do, right? I'm just no, move that thing there, move that thing there. But the Udam region is my favorite place in the world. I didn't work on it. I worked on everything and nothing at the same time. But the Udam region is my favorite place in the world. And maybe a specific little thing also that I've placed radiation in it, but that's a different story. Shit, I talk about radiation. Megan just went full on DeadWomanWalking. Here we go.
Yeah.
Live up to your name. There's one question about Easter eggs. Oh, there's two questions about Easter eggs.
There's been a couple.
What's the question about yours? Do we have Easter eggs? We have. Yes.
There you go.
There are at least 3 that I know of. I will not talk about them, of course, but yeah, there's some of them that I know of.
Even if I wasn't under NDA, I'm not going to talk about those.
No, exactly. I don't even know if the people in the beta have seen all of them. In fact, maybe they have, but yeah, there's more that I don't know about. That's the thing.
Some of us have been busy, but
Yeah, exactly. So
Well, that's it's a semi-world question.
Semi-world light cycle. Oh, shit, that's such a good one.
Joel's in chat. I should answer. I don't remember. I think the night does it last longer? It's the same time. I think the night lasts longer.
Joel,
I literally don't remember. I played this game for 2,000 hours, and it just flows. I don't even know. Do you can say Megan Mojo? Do you know? I don't remember.
if I remember,
I'm allowing you to say it. I don't remember.
The thing is, I actually can't remember. I think it's about the same.
It's not overly burdensome to have a day and night cycle. It's not like you're waiting, oh my God, for watching the clock and
No.
going AFK while you're waiting for the sun to go down for you to go do stuff. I don't remember exactly how. I don't remember it being burdensome though. I mean, you keep an eye on it because you don't want to be out in the sun, but I don't recall it being.
It kind of just flows. It just happens. Yeah.
I don't remember if they're at the same time or not, or the length is longer.
I'm fairly sure that they're the same time, roughly.
Yeah,
because the thing is, unlike with, say, a game like Minecraft, where the night is a third of the length of the day, you're not, even though your game behavior changes from night and day, you're still playing. Like, there's still stuff to do in both.
Yeah.
Obviously, the day you're going to be more hiding in the shadows.
Yes.
And you're kind of going from place to place, but it's easier to see. And in the night is where you get out in the fields. Oh, you do your more gathering, you do your building, especially. We saw it, I think, in the dev stream at the very start. It hurt me so much to see Camille's terrible water discipline. He was so dehydrated. He was out in the sun the whole time. And just like, dude, get in the shade.
It's then when we were when it was the Funcom press event in Oslo when the people released their video after, right? Yeah, I think Mojo, you were like, wow, they're really bad at water discipline. These players
really hard. I'm like, I know they've only played it for like 7 hours, but come on.
I know it made me kind of flinch. I'm just like,
yeah, there's little things.
It happens. Right?
Once people have adjusted to the desert and they know the ways, then there's habits that form.
Yeah, but like I said earlier, even after all that time, if you don't think about it, right? You don't harvest for a bit, and then you don't fill your liter John, and you do your thing. You will run out and just crap, shit. All right, it's during the day. I cannot harvest that shit. All right, I guess I'm gonna suck on plant, even though I played this game for. I'm on this character. I'm level 200, whatever, and then I'm gonna suck up on plants. Because I forgot. Right?
It is particularly degrading having to go into the dew fields on your hands and knees, and you just
when you're in a full end game armor.
It's humbling. It's humbling. It's a reminder that Arrakis is a test.
Yes,
it is,
and it is always. There's no point where you tip over and suddenly that stuff disappears. It's always.
No, exactly, and yes, at some point it gets easier in the game to get water, of course, because you need more and more. But yeah, you still have to think about it. Yes, Mojo.
I think this question is actually quite a good one. You don't think it's that bad?
I don't know. I like it would be hard for me as a non-colorblind person to. Who's our biggest in dark colors or dark colors are particularly difficult. Even in the thing, like, tell me, Jason, like the image behind me, how does it look for you? Because that's the thing, right? It's when I think I said it on the live stream when we had the Agarift at some point. I wanted to give it a little bit more spice, no puns intended. And I literally told the team, I literally wanted to be as dark as Tears of a Kingdom Underworld, right? And because I want people to go with their torchlight and try to figure out, or go with their vehicle and put the headlight on to try to navigate. But making pitch black areas is not really good for artists, so we're not really, really happy about it. Right? So we added more light, like these big glowy globes that you see there. Sorry. And then there's mini cams that you can see here also that kind of gives light and things. So this is pretty much the darkest that the game gets. I remember people saying on some videos or whatever at some point, it's like, but the night is not bright enough. Sorry, the night is too bright. And yeah, again, before at some point, like a year and a half ago, in the beta, the night was extremely dark, and people didn't really like that. Right? It's just I'm getting lost all the time. I don't see anything. It's like, and then so we tweaked it a bit because we still want this game to be approachable in a sense. And yes, it's Arrakis, but we don't have to make it annoying, right? It has to be hard, but it doesn't need to be annoying.
It's not Dark Souls on desert planet. It's
Yeah.
there's a line.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the dark spot right here, basically, and it's still there's a lot of hue, and then there's a lot of brightness. You can see kind of far, but you don't. You can recognize shape, but you don't really see, and then the rest is brighter, especially during the night when you have the two moons. It really shines on the on Arrakis, right?
Yeah, it really does look beautiful as well. To be fair, it is a gorgeous game. But yeah, I will say kind of one extra thing about that. Well, two things. One being, as we've seen in Hagar Rift, even some of the things that are important do show up quite a bit, like the big red crystals that you see. Those show up really well as things like in the early morning, the dew plants. You know when they are full of water because they are sparkling, and it's I do think there's quite a lot of game elements that really pop and really show. So you won't miss the important things, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
And that's when in chat Joel goes and talk about how hard you had to fight to get the dew field to glow up.
Yeah.
When the night happened. I remember that fight. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of work to get.
But
it helps. It's really, really cool to see.
You see those beautiful fields of glowing
glimmering
flowers.
field is beautiful.
All the condensation,
exactly.
on the leaves.
And how quickly it goes.
Yes.
Like when the sun comes up, it's gone, which is very much to do with the law as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Like if you want to get that dew, you've got to get there quick. And the other thing then obviously is scanners. We've seen a handheld one, and we've seen ones mounted to vehicles in the footage, and now those are also incredibly useful, and they show up an element on the HUD. So they will pop up for resources and important things like that. So even if
pretty much everything, even enemies.
Yeah.
But that's the interesting thing, the Dune thing, right? It's not like I worked on Assassin's Creed so much. You have the eagle vision and you see a thing, right? The scanner is scanning for resources. Humans are full of water, so you see water icon. When you scan humans, you don't see a human. You see water. You see a moving little water icon. Right? Because of course it's bodies of water walking around. So yes,
scanners are pretty useful on vehicles, on hand. And it's pretty useful also in the
and they're already up there in the deep desert.
Really useful to have a scan.
Oh yeah. So, did you guys need a break, or are you ready to move on to?
I'm all good.
Okay.
We'll do that all night long.
Yeah, I just needed 2 minutes. I got to turn on my light because it's got suddenly very dark here.
Okay. So, I'll let you take a break while I set up the next part.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay, because I need to. I always forget to set some stuff up. So I had asked for art from fans to the character creator, because you guys like Pixel Cave, but that's his character was absolutely terrifying.
We've seen a couple of interesting takes.
Yes. So, figure if we're talking about the world, let's see who I have first. I am half blind, so give me 1 second. I keep making my stuff bigger and bigger, and then I'm still like, what am I looking at? My text on Discord is like ginormous now. Can I find it? There is the question. Everything should be alphabetical. Where is it? E, F, G, H. Oh, Lordy. Okay. S. Okay. Give me 1 second while he's away.
It's gonna come back. Let's hope.
Yeah, he'll come back. Did you design the world around the worms, or did you put the worms in the world? I think that's a great
Man.
question.
Yeah, it's a great question. It was such a struggle. So the worm requires a lot of space to move. It's a system. We talked about it before. It's not controlled by us. So people think that the devs are kind of trolling players and we just control the worm. No, we don't. We cannot do that. And it's a system in itself. The worm goes under, like we said in the live stream, they have territories and things. It's hidden to the players. But there's multiple worm in the Heffe Basin. But the worms require quite a lot of space to move, and it was a constant fight. Well, fight is a big word, but constant arguing with the worm team and the world team to try to figure out what is the smallest space possible that is required for the worm to pass, and what is the speed that the character is running at? What is the speed of a bike? What is the speed of a buggy? What is the distance? What is the threat? All of these things needed to be taken into consideration to make sure that, for example, when you cross from Heffe Basin to the Vermilius Gap, like we did in the live stream, we needed a specific distance to make sure that, well, the worm is going to come. We want to have this worm thing, but we don't want everyone to always die when they cross. So we had literally, we were talking we need 400 meters, but 600 is good. 500 would be better. This and this and this and this and that. And like Joel is saying and writing in the chat, right? We change these numbers all the time. So we had to readjust the world. We had to readjust the world. We had to push these rock islands. We had to bring them together. We had to push that thing more. Like I was saying earlier with the Vermilius Gap, right? We needed space with the drums in. How much space can we have? But then the map is a specific size. So we expanded the Vermilius Gap. It crushed Jabal. We had to move Jabal in a different place. We had to shrink the Hagar Rift. The shield wall had to move. It was so much pain. So yes, we kind of made both It's not one or the other. It was not a chicken or the egg. It was literally the chicken and the egg for that.
Back in the day, I'm gonna date myself here. Back in the day, there was a country western song. Give him 40 acres and he'll turn that rig around. You got to have space for the worm to go do its thing. They don't turn on a dime, and they're territorial by lore. So
yes.
And
yes, and at some point, we were like, okay, the worm is gonna dig under and then get up and then be able to different things. If you mess too much with the worm, instead of doing the going out and then going down, it's just gonna eat you, and things like that. But it's Joel is writing. Well, we designed the world traversal scale. Talk about that, Jeff. Yes,
couldn't resist.
He's been very persistent.
And he wrote one of your damn world pigs. Yes.
I think Joel wants to come on the podcast.
Yeah, exactly. You should invite Joel also when he doesn't have time. But yes, traversal is of course important. We designed the world for that. We had all the vehicles, all the things, and then yes, we've seen in the live stream. You can use Shigawa Herclaw, use that with a suspensor belt. You can fly higher. There's a lot of things, lots of verticality in the world. It's just all of this beautiful mess. Ended up with the world that we have right now,
and we are grateful for it. So speaking of beautiful messes,
wow, what a segue!
I saw Pixel Cave in the chat. You were talking about Pixel Cave earlier. That's a great timing.
Yeah. Let's see what we have here for. Where's the first one? I hate being blind. Oh lordy.
No, the worms don't have official name. I get asked that all the time. Wow, look at that.
So, user art, right?
The Joker rat?
Wow.
This is from Savina Savage. I think.
I recognize that name. They're in the chat also. I'm pretty sure I've seen this person
in
before.
chat.
Looks like it's the Jokerette to me.
It's just like it's
A little bit.
it's eight ledger, but different.
Yeah, it's got a
The
little
lack
bit.
of eyebrows is what does it. That's
With the
That's
green
the-
hair, you know,
yeah.
You just need a bigger smile.
and I think that's been good.
Because every
Right.
woman loves it when a guy tells you to smile.
Oh, nice.
This one is from Cole Serdwin. This is a hard part about trying to pronounce people's names.
That is badass. Wow.
That one looks
That's
really good. I love the
just-
lipstick options.
Like we had these talk with Tasha. Like she's all about character creation.
Oh yeah.
And she spends hours making her character. And I'm like, oh, this is the most useless thing. I don't care. I just want to get into the game. There's a take a preset, maybe change the color of the hair, and that's it. Bang, I'm done. It takes like half a minute.
I can imagine that being a character in like John Wick, just like a
Yeah.
master assassin kind of thing.
Oh
It's
yeah.
really
Probably a
badass. I
vampire.
love it.
I love the tattoo options. We need more
Yeah.
tattoo options.
Cool.
Hold
All
on.
right, guys. Oh, that's me.
I'm hitting buttons and shit's happening. Wrong shit's happening. Okay.
Technical difficulties.
That's story of my life, man.
After 50 podcasts, you're gonna be good. Hey,
God
that's me again.
damn it. There's God. Fuck.
I was about to be like, you can see my neck even more in vertical.
Okay, hold on. This
Hey, it's
is
me
going-
again.
I'm trying. This worked well last time. It did.
Okay.
Works in my
Okay.
machine.
It's been a while since we had some buttons in the way.
I know.
Yes.
This is what I was saying. The camera is like right there. Media. Screen.
Neck
I know.
Okay.
El Neke.
You know, the fact that my name is Heffe, it's because every time I was writing something in Discord, people were putting the gif of, is it Matt Damon?
My name is here.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, it's so annoying because my name is not Jeff. My name is Jean-François. But nobody can pronounce my name, so it's always Jeff, right? So I was like, I'm going to rename myself to Heffe. So now I guess I
Why-
could rename myself to Nekke. Okay.
My
Because
fiance
of you
did not
guys.
believe that was your name, by the way.
Hey, this guy looks like, we showed it on the stream. This guy looks like Derek.
Yeah, he looks like Derek. This is from Pluto, and it does look like Derek. And I can't ever say Derek without thinking about The Good Place. Derek.
Looks like Derek with a tattoo. It's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very striking.
A
It's-
lovely planetologist. Yeah.
Yes. And then let's see. That one's from Anwar.
Nice.
Yeah,
I like simplicity. That's good.
looks really good. The haircut is amazing. I love the details. I mean, coming from Conan, it's a little dated. You know, Conan struggles with hair in general. I have to use Pippi to put beards on men, and it still looks like you're sticking pubes to their faces. It's not a good look, guys. So you guys, this looks good. So lessons were learned.
Yeah, Jenny, our character artist, they're really, really, really cool, really good at that.
Yes.
Oh no.
Lots of hair down in there.
The
Nice.
logo.
I like that. You have the can? I want to see the can.
I think I have the can.
I'll just go to mardeebenergy.com.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is from OMA. What was this? OMA Monster. And he's been on a rampage doing some Moadib stuff. I told him next time he's got some stuff that will, it's Moadib coffee. And if you know anything about exotic coffees, it's Moadib coffee. Oh, I thought that.
That's the one that's got the spelling error, but yeah.
Yeah,
Well, just
I know.
blends.
Well,
And
he
the-
like
the other-
he's going for the concept. This one's also from OMA.
Wait, that's badass.
That is pretty badass.
Look at that.
And he's got the dagger.
That's the special one, right?
Yeah,
Right.
the
one
skin.
from the pre-order. Is it pre-order? I don't remember. Is it pre-order?
It's the if you do the benchmark and
Yeah, the benchmark, yes.
creator.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, the flame blade.
Yes.
And then let's see. I got some more. We got this one. Normally, this works better. I think
Yeah.
yeah.
Look at this beauty.
Ooh.
Shit. Lots of swag.
Did you do something or did I do
Maybe
something?
that was me. Ignore me.
Okay.
Mojo, your keyboard is super loud. Mute yourself.
There was stuff on my screen. It scared me for a minute. I was like, I didn't touch it. And then the last one was submitted today. Where is it?
Oh, that's cool.
There we go. Arrakis Pilgrim, who has shared their art before.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
their art's been
cool.
in the community before too.
Who did that?
That is done by Arrakis Pilgrim.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is nice. Shit.
If you get a chance to peruse the fan art channel on the
I should, yes.
Dune Discord, you will find all kinds of stuff.
That is lovely. Nice.
Okay, so the next thing we wanted to talk about a little bit was factions, because being a PvE game, we need people to fight, right? So we can only run around dodging, heat strokes so much. We need some peoples to fight. So I've got a short video. So we will minimize for a second because this is kind of stuff I put together for us to talk about. So let me make it work. Oh, fuck me. God damn it.
Oh, hi. Well, hi again.
Oh, we're back.
I just wanted to work. Okay. There we go.
Fairly okay, peaceful by the Canley piece, and in there there's bars to visit, vendors to visit. There's the chome exchanges there,
and the sound's all mucked up because it's been that kind of thing. But the thing I was kind of we know we have the Atreides, we got the Harkonnen and others. We've had some really good footage from Arakeen. And let me see if I can start that over so we can talk about it a little bit more. So this is, where are we, Jeff? That this is so neat looking.
Where are we? Well, you were in Arakeen. That's
We're in Arakeen.
Yeah. I mean, the battle map is somewhere in Arakeen. It's a place that the player can go.
Yeah.
I don't exactly remember
We know
where that was. That's Harko.
Yeah, it's Harko Village.
Yes. So yeah, of course, both faction have a city. That's the Hanivar Bar, Shome Place, Shome Exchange. That's where you go and sell shit to the other players and stuff. Your hard-earned things. And that's the. I remember saying, I don't remember who I said it to. The art team was like, "I'm not shipping this game if I don't get my palm trees." So I needed my palm trees. We needed the palm trees in Arakeen. That was important.
It's a nice touch to have them out there watering. That's a thing.
But as you can see, they're a bit torn down, because stuff happened in our timeline.
Yeah.
And the assault in Arakeen happened, but didn't really achieve great things. So Arakeen is still there. The palms are still there, but they look a bit rough.
Yeah.
Weapon dealer in the city, Arakeen, Atreides, people getting arrested or taken hostage by the Harkonnen. We have a trade post right there. We talked about that a bit in the live stream also. Little neutral place you go as a player, do some quests, talk to people, sell some things. A beautiful location.
Yeah.
There that I don't want to talk about.
Okay.
No, that's fine. It was in Dune. Damn, it's just a nice.
Yeah. So we know, because one thing that people have been asking about is PvP. Maybe you can't answer this.
We'll see.
We've talked about this. Mojo and I have talked about this a bit in the Discord because this question comes up a lot. Is PvP faction based? And our answer is always PvP is pew pew to whoever is in your way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Fire.
In a sense, what happened in the desert stays in the desert, right? So yes, if you're Atreides in your guild and you see ads, PvP ad,
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect timing. It's PvP ad. See?
I'll be back.
That's a sign. I will not answer this question.
Fair enough. Fair
But
enough.
ads happen on Twitch, right? It's not on.
It's
on
not
Yes.
on Twitch for me at the moment.
It's
Okay.
yeah. There's ads on Twitch. We have no power over that.
Apparently, PvP is WWE 2025.
Okay. Twitch, are we back?
Are we back?
Hopefully,
I swear,
But-
if I see a massive advert in the middle of the desert, no.
some big
Show
billboard
does
is flashing in the
It's
night.
gonna be a billboard for Muad'Dib energy drink from those.
Well, I answered the question. You had to be there.
Sorry, Twitch, you don't get the answer.
But I always answer with it is called the War of Assassins. You
Yes.
know, we saw early on, the guy with the Harkonnen stuff on his, pop the dagger out.
Yes.
So, stabbing people from behind and that sort of thing is kind of par for the course. And it's Dune. I mean, that kind of politics and assassinations
Yes.
and sneakies and has
But
always
also,
been.
it's like we the long story short is that you can have a guild if I recall correctly. You can have a guild with both factions. It's perfectly okay. We can be in a guild together. Mojo can be a treaties, and we both Megan and me can be Arcanum. We go in the deep desert. You just shoot. It's full PvP, so it doesn't change. If we're all a treaties, we can all kill each other. That's perfectly okay. When it comes to Landsrat, that's where we haven't talked a lot about Landsrat. I'm not going to talk much about Landsrat now either. There's probably going to be a stream about that or whatever. But when you join the Landsrat, you have to pledge your guild to a faction, and everyone in the guild needs to be the same faction, right? Because the guild works toward the Landsrat for their faction. And yes, if you are not the same, you will literally get the leader will get a message saying, if you pledge now, you're going to kick those people out of your guild. If you do so, that's what it is, right? But there's different levels of shooting people in the face in PvP, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't change anything. If you're in a PvP zone and somebody else is in a PvP zone, you can kill them, no matter the faction. Because why not? You're literally shooting at them.
Yeah, I think the way that as Joel has talked about it, in the law basis for it all is the forms of Canley, where which is a formal vendetta against two houses. That's kind of used in the War of Assassin and the Canley forms are what's shown at the top of the screen when you enter a PvP or a PvE area, where it's either open warfare, limited warfare, or safe zone, i.e. guild peace. So, and kind of thing that I think people get a little bit tripped up on, especially when they hear MMO and factions. They think it's more like World of Warcraft and the Alliance versus the Horde.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Even though it, the initials work out, A and H. But we start off as prisoners. We are neutral. We are a faction unto our own, effectively, and we can choose to ally or throw in our lot and work with one side or the other, or neither, or super secret third faction post-launch or whatever. And then, we're effectively signing as some of the cinematics have shown, kind of signing a contract of alliance or allegiance with the Harkonnen or the Atreides. We are still mercenaries, effectively. We're just pledging our alliance to them. So even though other mercenaries or other players that you see on there are also pledged to the same house as you, you don't necessarily owe them any loyalty.
No, and when you make your guild, you're kind of creating a minor house, right? So you're not, even if you're working with the Atreides, you are not an Atreides or Harkonnen, right? So there's the thing there. You're working with them, for them. You can do a lot of things for them and with them, but you're not literally them.
Yeah.
Sovina put in the kind of question, wait, we can have a mixed guild as long as the guild isn't pledged. Yes, as Heffe just said, it's only when you pledge yourself to be either Harkonnen or Atreides that at that point you can't get mixed and things. But you do need to do that for the Landsman, I think. So
Yeah.
because you can only work towards one house. So
Yeah.
But we're not focusing too much on the Landsman stuff. That's
Nope. Later.
Sometime later. So
I'm the world guy.
Talk about world.
So, world guy, social hubs are. I know the game is not an RPG. I'm good with that, but I also know that like games like Conan have a huge PvE/RP community. The social hubs, places like this, I think will be a really important part of the world. It's not just about going out and getting spice. It's also about the PvE and the PvP that happens through politics, and places like this bar is the kinds of places that those can happen, and the immersion in the world here is so amazing to me, because you got the smoke and you got the hookahs, and it's so alive.
Yeah, and it's also pretty cool in Arakeen, right? There's this 2-level bar, basically, that it's like the bottom part is more for the soldiers, right? And then the upper bar is for the upper class, right? So even if you want to role play, you can role play in either of them, right? And
you got a guy passed out on the bar right there. I mean,
yes, exactly.
yeah,
that dude has seen some life, right? But it's also in the small things, right? It's a small detail, but yeah, you can go sit at a chair with another player, and you can role play there if you want to and do different things, right? And, I know that, like, again, because I'm not 100% tied to NDA. I know that Megan organized a little bit of a thing on the beta to have a lot of sit down together with a lot of people. It was pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see lots of people sitting in the Harko village and talking with each other, and that was cool to see. Yep.
Well, like we've seen, the whale. Let me see if I can find the whale, because the whale is pretty fun.
the whale skeleton. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a nice bit of lore, Kulan. But the whale is a nice bit of throwback to the lore. I mean, you guys are such nerds for that. I mean, that's the Harkonnen, whale fur shtick.
Yeah.
That that's that bit that just kind of goes back to us. And there's even more smoke here than there is.
Yeah, it's more like Harkonnen, they're more decadent in a sense, right? And it's just like it's a bit more orderly in Arakeen, but also the War of Assassin is really tearing down both factions, kind of like the Atreides are trying to stay honorable and things, and then the Harkonnen are like just going down the rabbit hole of like just getting even more shit faced all the time and things, right? So yeah, in this bar in Harko village, it's a lot more like there's a lot more drugs, basically, lots more smokes, lot more Sanuta and all the things, right? So we have this part in there that is a bit different. It's a bit brighter in Arakeen in a sense, but we have the contrast in both cities.
It's the war is it takes a toll on everybody. There's that tension, not just for the players and the environment and worrying about going out on the sand and doing stuff. Everybody's feeling, is someone going to shoot me in the back?
yeah. I think it's also something that a lot of people are kind of coming into the game with and it's going to hit them, that little bit of realization of, on the one hand, they've seen the movies or they've read the books and they have an idea of what Arrakis looks like and what it feels like, and they've seen the Arakeen Palace in the movies, but then quickly realizing the game is set 8 years into a stalemate war of assassins, and even though the kind of timeline splits at the birth of Ariste Atreides instead of Paul, the events of the first book and film happened 8 years ago to this point, and they happened differently. So the Atreides and Harkonnen that we find might not quite be the ones that people are expecting.
No, exactly. Well,
it makes sense.
The Atreides will be kind of interesting in the original timeline because they're dead, but now there's a lot of them here.
But you can see it in the world also in Haga Basin. You can see the more you explore and the farther from the starter region, the Haga Basin itself you see, right? You see the war that happened in the past, right? Now it's the stalemate. The players are during the stalemate. The watering of the
Yeah, I love the little bits of you know the life that you put in it. You know, we've got that big parade ground and some they're kind of sad looking, but they're still there. And to the people that was important. You know, we're still giving up this vital water because it's a symbol of hope.
Yes. And the thing that is not shown here, because the camera is in a specific angle, but there's this protest around this person in the game, right? Because they're like, where the hell are you wasting water? Like, there's a lot of refugees in Arakim because of the war, and then they would like to have water, but then there's this person watering. How much is it, Mojo? I don't remember. 3 men, 5 men,
100 lives.
Yeah, exactly.
20 trees, 5 men, or 5. Every day the trees drink the equivalent of 5 men.
Exactly.
So it's 20 trees, 100 lives.
Yeah, exactly. So there's also these things in the cities, right? Those little tidbits of life, basically, that we wanted to put in there to literally give life to the world in the timeline that we're in, right? So you see all the broken down walls behind and all the military thing in front of the palace because the war is still happening, right? And they still haven't had any sort of willpower or time to rebuild Arakim how it was before because they don't have time or things for that, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I think one of the things that people kind of laughed at first is, oh, how original Harco village, that kind of thing. And then you actually think, okay, what was the capital? Carthage. And then, as Joel explained in it was in the Pirate Software interview, I think it was, where saying about how Carthage got exploded.
Yeah.
The last gun shield interaction.
Yep, it's last gun shield interaction. That's why we have no last gun shield interaction in our game.
Yeah, so and that was the northern capital of Arrakis when the Harkonnens were in control. Right. So the Harkonnens probably would have had Carthage, but they've had to fall back to and basically turn Harco village into what was a village into their main trading center. Effectively, now they're falling back.
Yes.
So it's like, and you feel that in Harco, you can kind of get it where these things weren't purpose built for this. And like you can see in the Arakim Palace there, you do have the whole palisade area and the battlements and the kind of, it was very much purpose built to be a center of operations. Harco is not like that.
Yeah.
It's ramshackled, and I really love that environmental storytelling where you can kind of feel this is a world that makes sense in a Dune way. And as I think someone mentioned in the chat about how I've seen that in the movie, there are so many times where I'm just like, I know where this is. I recognize this. Ecolabs are the one for me.
Oh yeah.
It's only a short scene in the first movie.
Yep.
When they're in there, but oh my god, it's perfect.
When they come down the shaft, and then we've seen almost the same thing in one of the trailers, and you're just like,
yeah,
that was on purpose for that, right?
Oh yeah,
it's like the movie with the trailer and things.
And the testing station. This is where we basically pumped everything to 11
because we can do pretty much what we want in there. They're like 10,000 years old piece of building that are reopened now. So we can do whatever, and then whatever would happen for vegetation with water for 10,000 years, and then we were able to do a lot of different things in there that is really contrasty with the rest of the world.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh yeah. Is there anything else that we needed? Because we're still trying to skirt around the NDA. This is hard. This has probably been the hardest one.
There's so much more we want to say, and yet we can't yet.
And yet I'm here just throwing you under the bus about what you did in the beta and this and that and this.
We died a lot. We died a lot.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
And it's okay. I was thinking the other day about the first time I died on the map, and I will never tell anybody the details because it was a stupid death. But it's, and also I want other people to die that way too. I don't want.
They're so evil. Damn.
Yeah.
Pulling up the ladder behind her.
Yeah.
We're going to be sat on the rocks in Hager Basin South on launch day and just watching all of the new people.
The worm coming.
Just, yes, just crouching on the rocks like Fremen, masters of the desert. Just like, oh, hello.
Watching. No, it's going to be good. I think there's. I hope people, and I know this is nerdy of me. I hope people stop and look at what the world is. You know, we've seen the art and the carvings on the walls. We've seen where you guys have put prop placement for jugs and things. We got you know, booby traps and flames and poison and not quicksand, and all of these things are not just arbitrarily thrown out there to be hazards. There's reasons why it's all there in the way it is. And I know there's going to be, I think Ignacy had pointed out on his last restart, he'd spent like 200 hours in the basin, just tooling around doing stuff. And I'm like, yeah, it's, you know, there's stuff to look and see and do.
Yeah, exactly. There's more things than you need, in a sense. Like you can move to the next regions without having found everything, but I think that's going to make it so that every player journey will be different.
Oh yeah,
because they will have find this and that, and they will have find this and that. We have one person in the beta that I will not name, of course, because beta, but they just decided to almost never use a vehicle. Right? They just walk, which I find amazing. Of course, crossing the sand is a different thing, but they found some ways, you know, and then you can use stunt burrs and this and that, right? Which is really interesting because, of course, we built most of the world from the ground, but we also obviously took the ornithopter into consideration. But to me, as the world director, I was like, I want to keep people on the ground as long as possible because I want them to experience the world, right? Because when you start flying, you play really differently. And that's fine, right? This is perfectly okay. We also planned for that. But when people are on the ground, it's really cool. You can see all the things from really close up, right? And find those little tidbits. Like, of course, we went to the flat rock in the live stream to show that, yeah, there's hidden chests in a lot of places, right? And that's on purpose because for me as director, that was extremely important. That's how I love games. That's how I love open world. I love going somewhere and always wondering, what will I find today if I go to this base? If I go to this cave, if I go to the absolute corner of the map, right? Is there anything there? And then, yeah, maybe there is. Because, yeah, we've hidden more than you need, basically. So I'm looking forward for the interactable map when the game will be out and people are going to stack up the data and things and see what they have found, what they have not. And that's going to be great.
Plans within plans.
Yeah, exactly.
It's there's a lot. There's a between, you know, the getting, you know, sunstroke from standing outside looking at just the wow, and then the storm gets you, or the not quicksand gets you, or the dehydration gets you. You know, there's that whole world that you guys have put together for us. Just the PvE part is so immersive. I mean, like here, you know, the war is still on. We still have their flight ready out on the flight line. A storm could come by and wipe them all out, but it's more important to be ready for something else. You know, and you know, we see the damage to the building, you know, storm damage and battle damage, and just the feeling that there's still that tension everywhere you go. Even in the hubs, there's still this, it's gritty, it's dirty, stuff's kind of there's this tension that the world carries that I think that you guys have done a really amazing job to bring that to life for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that the team has done also that are like little details that doesn't change anything,
Yeah.
right? But environment storytelling, and I remember there's a cave somewhere in the world that I was exploring it at some point, and then just down in a shaft there was a skeleton with a book, right? That's it. Like it was just like that's it. I mean, there's nothing else. There's a skeleton with a book. And I was like, this is so cool. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
It serves absolutely no purpose, but it brings
I
a
know
little.
exactly
What
which one
happened?
you mean as well. It's
Right.
memorable. Is
Yeah,
the
what
thing.
happened here?
And it makes you look around going, did he fall? Was he shot? Did he, just
Yeah, it's
give
stuck.
up?
Yeah.
Exactly.
know.
They stuck there. They had a book. That's it. They died of dehydration, and it's just like these little details everywhere.
I'm the kind of guy who goes into a game, and obviously being a massive wiki nerd, I'm there, kind of like we say, full contact archaeology. I'm going there, dodging all of the traps with a notepad. Just, what's that? Getting everything all noted down and ready. But also, it's so packed and there's so much, but it just makes sense. It isn't just you don't just find an empty cave that's just there. Why? Because this wall looks a bit blank. Yeah, there's, like I say, I know it's all memorable as well. Like I remember exactly where that skeleton with the bit of rope next to it is. And it's like just the smallest details that didn't have to be there. Things like in the showed it in the live stream, the trading post, when the sandstorm rolls in, they've timed it perfectly so the doors shut exactly when the sandstorm rolls in, and
it's
even
another
though
thing that it's
have to have
interesting. Game development is what it is, right? Because that's another thing that people were like, hey, it would be cool to do that, and some people were like, but do we really have to spend time on this, right? Because we could do something else. Of course you could, but it's just like, I guess the devil's in the detail. Like, this is really cool because I remember when the beta dropped and people saw that from the first time, they're like, oh, that's such a nice detail. Yeah, it is. It is really cool because it makes the world more grounded in itself, right? So all of these little things, we could have had so much more, but game production is what it is, right? We have time and resource, and we have to do with what we can. But we have a lot of these little things that happens here and there.
It really does show, like, and I do think a lot of people do recognize this. When you do see little details like that in the game, it's not, why is this here? It's more, a dev cared enough to put this in the game. Because there's a lot of games that are out there that they are there to make money. That is their one true purpose in life, and the devs are just kept there. But no, you can really tell through and through.
And the thing that we have, I don't know if Joel is still in the chat, right? But we also work together that when the world was pretty much locked in place, he started naming all the places, right? Because he's the narrative guy, and every single location has a name that has a purpose, and there's a lot of, you can basically, as a player, you can kind of put some little piece of puzzle together to kind of create some sort of narrative, because there's a lot of, all the unique schematics have a specific description, right, that Joel also wrote, that tells a story about this unique item and why it's a unique item. And lots of them are related to people and places that if you put one and one together, you can kind of understand what happened, right? There's a dagger with the name of someone, and then the name of someone is also the name of a place. And when you go there, the set dressing in there is different to show what might have happened in the past. So it's not always like that as detail, but there's a specific place that I have set dressed myself because I wanted to with Joel to just create this little story, right? And there's this thing I remember, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but there's a sphere at some place in the world. And then someone wrote in the beta Discord, was like, hey, what is this? And I never answered because I don't want to answer, but there's a story about that sphere, right? There's a thing about it. It's a small detail, but like there's a lot of these little things for people who care, they will find it cool. And for people who don't care, you just literally don't have to care at all. It doesn't change anything for gameplay.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I say, that also ties in with some pretty deep cuts in the Dune lore as well. Like as a bit of a Dune fanboy, as might be a bit obvious, there's some things in there that I'm just like, oh, that's in, I don't remember that name, and then I'm just like, oh wait, no, that's this person or this person, or oh, so that's where they ended up, because I know what happened to them in the story, but
there's a lot
their
of
story has
names.
fallen totally differently.
Exactly. There's a lot of names that will probably go above people's head. But for people who are really, really, really fan, like you and the others, who've read all the books and the things, a certain name might be like random Joe Sixpack for most of the people. For people who know, they were like, oh shit, it's the son of the this and the this and the that. Exactly. So
we're thinking about the same one. I know we are. It's fairly early on in the game. I actually think it might have been shown. No, I actually don't think the creators have shown it, that specific one yet.
No, exactly.
I'm sure people will find that on day one and they're going to like, oh, this is what they were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So, it was the same thing, like I said in the beginning of the podcast. Like when I decided where the world was, it was super important when I was saying to the team, like,
you need to place a mountain there at that specific location, because on Arrakis, the mountain is there, right?
So please put a couple of rocks in there and scale them up, and that's going to be a mountain really far, but there's a mountain there still, right? Because it's important to be grounded.
We had talked before about when we were in got the footage from that first lab, down in Haga Basin South. There's a story there, and it had the hidden door like in the movie, and those details. Like I'm in a lab, it's got the hidden door, and each lab's got a little something in it that adds to the world, and you didn't have to do that, but it's like the decorations. So looking at this one, the table has cups and a flask and stuff on it. Those things that you don't have to do are the books over there, and the hookah smoke and all of that. I was doing something in Conan the other day, and I was putting down decorations, which is very tedious, all the little cups and things. And someone was asking, why do you do that? And I'm like, you would notice if I didn't. If this bottom shelf, because no one looks at the bottom shelf at home, but if you walked into a room and there was a whole big old empty shelf in the bottom of the kitchen, you would notice. Your eye would go, why is that empty? And so we look at it and go, why is all that there? Because you would notice if there wasn't something on the table. You would notice if this was empty. You would notice you'd be upset if there was nothing in there, but generic loot. The story is the reason. And the world building part, the product, the prop placement part is part of the storytelling. And I think you guys have gone, like that first lab, or we talked about the environmental storytelling in that first wreck, how it's at an angle. It's not flat, and you kind of have to watch everything because stuff's half buried in the sand, and because it came crashing down. And so those parts add to the immersion of the world, that you guys went through all that work to build something and then bury it half in the ground.
Yeah. Have a sense of time to it as well. Like, this ship crashed at this point, and then since it has crashed, it's been looted. Some things have been pulled out of it. Some things have been too heavy to move. There's some things that have been looted away, and they've put awnings out the front because it's taken, there's so much in it that the scavengers have come along, they've set up camp, and it's all that kind of. It's a living world. It all kind
of exactly. And because I was talking a bit about that earlier, right? You can see the difference also in the deep desert because of the shifting sand and the fact that the map changes. There's a pretty big difference in, I would say, cleanliness of, for example, Imperial Testing Station in the deep desert, because they were just opened kind of like you go there and you discover them alongside other AI folk that kind of went there. So they're not habited by them, like in Haga Basin, where the scavengers have been living in the shipwreck for like 7 years, right? Something like so. There's a lot of difference, like the
testing station at the desert are really, really, really pristine because they were just literally opened like now when you go as a player, right?
So it's this also. It was also important for me when I said to the team, like, remember, those are 10,000 years old, and they're just open like last week. Right? So you have to show that in the set dressing and the prop placement, right?
I think it's really cool, and there's a definite lot of love for
Oh yeah.
the world. And it's going to be great
Well,
when
shout
people
out to those
Shout out to those artists. Shout out to those artists that have to play every single little goblet.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
little
it's just
things.
takes a lot of time.
there's so much detail in everything that you guys have done. There's nothing that feels like, it doesn't feel like placeholders. It's like you did it with intent, and it's supposed to be good from the start. Furniture. I mean, it's an office, and people are working, and there's stuff, and there's places to sit, and it feels like they've made this effort to make it feel like, Caladan, and it's there's air conditioning in there, and they've got the sun filtering through. They've done what they can to make it more comfortable, despite it being 50 degrees Celsius outside.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely. All the details in there, and the 3D logo, all the Landsrad House representative right there.
There's lots of detail in there.
It's everything just looks so alive and so immersive. So think even just the PVE part. There's life in here. If you look behind them, there's the fish.
Yep.
That's Atreides. That's Caladan. And we looked in that first wreck. You knew it was an Atreides ship because there was a big whale on it.
Yes.
It's not well lit, and you kind of have to go look at it, but it's there.
Yep.
And so whose ship that was that came down. So there's so much.
One of the things that we
there.
wanted, that Joel wanted, of course, again, we could have done more, but we have what we have. But we wanted the shipwreck to kind of show a little bit of outside of Arrakis. Outside, because of course, Arrakis is just one of the planet, right? And then the Atreides shipwrecks. There's a lot of tidbits of. It's not lore, like it's just environment storytelling. You just look at things, and yes, there's the whales. There's a map of Caladan. There's a solido projection of the planet that is still lit because there's still a bit of electricity in the shipwreck that goes on, right? It's things that you can see as a player. Again, for the people who care, it's gonna be great. For the people who don't, you just go there. It looks kind of fun. It's kind of great, and then
they just see.
right?
They just steal the little loot crates around.
Yes.
Just like, loot.
Look at these beautiful guns.
But the War of Assassins, the weapon sales, that plays into all of the whole of the gameplay is to have the best pew pew, compared makes the other things a little easier.
Yeah, and this vendor specifically, I think, is the one in Harcourt, right? So it's like a smuggler. They're kind of like in a back alley, right? And then you kind of go
this
there.
reminds me
At the back on the right.
of a garage door opener.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just
It's kind of hidden, and it's kind of cool. But yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Anything else in here?
more pew pews.
More pew-pews.
Yeah, but just the storytelling between in the Canley areas is just amazing.
Yeah.
The trade posts. We saw that in the live stream where he was looking at some of the different characters.
Yep.
And the different NPC there.
That's
So I think I love this particular image. I think we're about ready to a good point for another Q&A. I think kind of keeping focused on environmental storytelling and world building and factions and keeping the NDA in mind.
There was one person, I think it was CZ Patron, asking about that one which isn't world building. It kind of is,
Kind of is.
in a way.
No, you can't. Not yet, at least. Not for launch. Not for launch. I think, fairly sure that Joel wanted that soonish after launch. It's a thing. It's a thing that we want. Absolutely. Heraldry is important for Dune, so you will post launch. The hope is to have that pretty soonish after, because yes, you want to show who you are, right? Important.
Who's seeing no's and yeses?
No's and yeses.
That's an interesting question.
Yes, I did not myself. Would have loved to. I know that. I think Joel said it in whatever interview you had before. But before I joined the project at Funcom, I know that the director crew went to see the kit, the movie sets. I'm not exactly sure it was in Montreal, but they went to see. They went into like the ornithopters from the movie, like went inside them and looked inside and took a million pictures and things to make sure that the ornithopter would look like the one in the movies and things like that, right? So they had a lot of research that they could just get from the movie. We also got a lot of stuff from Legendary also. Like before the second movie was released, we got a lot of concept art from the movie. We got a lot of different things. We even got the it's not in the game, but we even got the 3D model of Arrakeen from the movie. And we had that in the world at some point, just as a placeholder until we started making the real Arrakeen. But that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Anything else?
Guess that this one. Kind of, not quite. But...
No, you can't, because there's no Fremen to teach you how to do it.
And that leads into a lot of questions we get over and over and over. Is the Sandwalking, no Fremen to teach you. Worm riding, no Fremen to teach you.
Yeah, exactly. It's all stuff that will probably end up being at some point later down the line. There's no Fremen, so you can get a lot of you get a lot of their tech, but it's all like pieces of thing that they left, like the basic stuff, like the blood extracting tool and the still tent and the thumper, but like sandworm riding, sandwalking, that thing. I don't know if it has a name, but hiding under the sand, like
sand snorkeling.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, still suit, of course. You get that.
Yeah.
And there's narrative reason why you get those things that I will not talk about here. But we have specifically decided, of course, it's our game, what you get. But there's narrative reason to why you get X and Y.
Yeah. And pretty much just more or less to answer the same question. I think Joel has the best answer to this one, which is find out.
Yeah. On a scale of 10, how much do you want to find out? Let's say 7.
Yeah,
you gotta fuck around on a scale of 7.
You got the two scales there. Probably the best answer to that question is try it.
Yeah, exactly.
How will it work for you?
But the worm will always come. Always.
The worm will always come.
And when you make noise, there's little waves. And when you make more noise, there's more waves. And when you get a lot of water, you get a lot of waves. Yep. So, and then you change color. So it's a little yellow and then orange and then super deep red. So you know as a player how much noise you're doing, but you don't know when the worm will come with these waves. Sometimes it's sooner. Sometimes the worm is angry. Sometimes it's not.
Sometimes he's doing the 40-acre turnaround in the
exactly. It's not black and white, right? It's like you have to gauge as a player.
You get a sense for it. You learn the ways of the worms.
Exactly.
And but they will always find a way to humble you. Never think that you have truly mastered the desert, because it will show you the way. Yeah. The way is death. Like you were saying about wanting players to go out and search and just explore the world and see what they can find. 99% of the time, what you find is death.
Sorry, my Autobot thing is. Someone was talking about the fuck around and find out, and the bot, sorry, got you for foul language.
Aye.
The thinking machines are turned against us.
I
Yes,
know.
exactly.
Well, the other day for the live stream, apparently there was some bot issues that if someone wrote more than like one long sentence, it would mute them for 30 seconds for talking too much. Like that
sounds a bit Scandinavian. It's like you talk too much. We don't do that.
No, I've seen the bot just kind of bapping a few people
Yeah.
because of the stream.
As I say, as a German, we don't do small talk. If you get in the elevator and anybody turns to talk to you, that's like the worst. 'Cause you're trapped in the room with someone trying to chat you up, and that's just wrong.
Right.
Will there be other maps in the future post-launch? I think
Yes.
we've kind of.
The answer is yes. Absolutely. This is why we made the overland map. Right? The thing we showed on the live stream, when you have a top tour, you can leave the Haggett Basin to go to the cities and the deep desert. This is exactly why. It's because we can easily add, just plop a content, patch happen, DLC happen, whatever. Boop. Now there's a new thing, you can go there. 100%. Absolutely. I want to make more maps. That's my jam. I'm the world director. I want to make more worlds. Like that's the thing, right? So yes, 100%.
Let's say one more and then get to a wrap-up point.
Yes. Will
I think
DD
this was
get
like
bigger?
the last one.
If needs be. Like it's technical. Like it's a big.
It's a lot of server.
Technical spaghetti.
Yeah.
Deep desert. And I think technically it could be bigger, but I don't know if we need it to be. Like that's the thing. We'll see.
I was looking at, I grew up in thinking in freedom units, and 500 square miles is about how big the deep desert map is, which is quite large. But to put it in scale for people who are using freedom units, that's about the same mileage, square miles, as Chicago. So if you've ever been to Chicago, it's a good sized city. So 500 square miles is and it's about what 550 kilometers, 550.
Yeah, it's 575 square kilometers. I think the deep desert.
76.
Yeah,
76
it's
exactly.
good size. So for the Americans in the group, it'd be like crossing Chicago. So
Imagine 900 people in Chicago.
So
have a
I'm
meeting.
just saying, because I was Googling, because I was trying to get some perspective on just how big 500 square miles is. I mean, obviously it's kind of stretched along lake, but just to kind of get an idea of if you're running around on a motorcycle, that kind of experience. I think London's probably a little bit bigger. London's a weird thing because it's like a London and then London Metro.
Yeah,
London never
Kinda-
stops.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really big. It's really open. It's really big. It's really vast. There's tiny bits of land, mostly sand. So I don't know. I don't know if we will need to have it bigger. If all things, maybe we'll need it to be smaller, right? Because yeah, it's so vast. Like there's a lot of people are like, yeah, but people will roam. It's going to be easy to gank. And I'm like, I don't know. It's so freaking open. There's so much space, and ornithopter makes so much noise when they fly and things. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be too big. It's hard to know, right? So we'll see. We'll see in the future if it needs to be bigger or not.
It's good size now. I'm here for it, whichever. I think that's probably a good point for us to stop. We went on a little bit longer than I expected. Sorry about that, guys. It always happens. I always think, okay, we've got about an hour and 10, and then
An hour, yeah, but I was expecting it to be a bit longer. Like, if you want to have me to talk about World, I can talk about World for a long time. So it's all good.
it's getting late where you are, so don't let us keep you too much longer. But yeah, so I think this is a good spot because I know you two have to get up tomorrow and actually pretend to work.
There we go.
I'm gonna just point at more things. That's what I do.
There's worse jobs. Oh Lord.
There we go.
But the real question before we leave is, how many hats did I wear tonight? Right?
Let's see who's been paying attention in the chat.
Yeah, exactly. For people been paying attention, how many hats did I had? So yeah, I don't know if
We did-
They were
anyone
too
was
busy
paying
looking at
attention.
your neck.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
didn't realize that you've been
Everyone's looking at my neck.
Right.
I don't. Your VODs will be on the thing, right? But yeah.
That was the ruse the whole time. We were getting them to focus on El Neke.
Exactly. And they never saw
We got
all
some,
the
four,
we
hats.
got some guesses.
All that. The funny that I don't even know myself. Because yeah,
But hats are good. We like hats.
it's a man of multiple hats. No, but yeah, look, like there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5, and then I don't know, probably have more.
Yeah.
People in the Discord made so much thing of my hat. I was like, all right, let's go. Let's show some. Anyway, jokes apart.
42.
Thank you so much,
42.
Heffe, for coming
Yes,
along
yes.
with us. It's
Yes,
been really
that was
great.
fun. I love it.
Yeah.
Maybe
El Hate.
El Hatte, that's a good
El
one.
Hate.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna rename my name on Discord for that.
El Hate.
That's a good one. But yeah, it was really fun. I'm really happy to talk to both of you.
It's always so fun. Yes,
Oh, sure
put that
thing.
in there. That's pretty good.
Sorry about the technical issues. This all worked fine last time, I promise. And then this time I'm like, it's just like,
I was not there.
I
You can say
know.
whatever you want.
I was not there.
Ignacio
Cool
was
that
here.
Joel joined the chat
Also a little bit. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So yes,
So
it was
I
fun.
guess this is a good spot to wrap it up then.
Yes.
This was fun as always. Sand is in the works. Yes. Sand
And
will be here
rocks.
soon.
And
We are what, 40 some odd days from
I don't know how much.
42 days, was it?
something like that.
Not gonna lie, I'm trying to not think too much about the release date.
It's
It's gonna
been-
happen.
it's been years in progress, and now you're kind of coming to this culmination point.
Yes, launch is always a bit stressful.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. We're here for it.
Yeah.
As long as the thing like catches literally on fire, I think everything will be good.
We will see.
That's what backups are for. You guys run backups.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And once again, thanks to Heffe. Make sure you check out the wiki, folks. Awakening.wiki.
And if you haven't already, make sure you sign up on the wish list. We're in the
Not pre-order.
Discord. We have Mojo and I are there a lot.
So everyone knows they are not dev, even though they are more there than us.
A little bit.
You guys are actually doing stuff. That's the
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
We're just sitting around waiting for you to do the stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Thank you all. And go on. I'll let you end the stream.
Yes, this is a good time if we have to. So
Bye, everyone.
we'll catch everybody next time. Bye bye.